All right, ladies and gentlemen, there we are. We're live. Welcome to the imho.love show. Here at the beautiful Darby Ranch. I'm Lou Angelwolf. This is Mike Murburg. And here we go. Many shows. It's the 9th of March, 2022. The world keeps changing every week. That's why we do a show. And good to be here. Like I said, I'm Lou. That's Mike. And blessed that you could spend some time with us. Like, share, subscribe. The show goes live on Facebook. And then we download it to YouTube and BitChute and Podbean and... of course, the homepage, imho.love. Thank you so much. We're at beautiful Area 52, out here where we do the CE5 Skywatches, or the HICE Skywatches, and where we do the show most Wednesday nights at 7:30 here in the fabulous studio. All right, well... like many of you, we're trying to filter the information that comes flowing to us from different avenues and different points of view, different states of mind, different motivations for the opinions told. And we're all just trying to sort it out. It's a dizzying amount of information for us to digest. And as a whole, I don't think you'll ever do it, but there are some good, practical common sense and historically accurate and trackable results for scenarios that we're in right now. And of course, this art of war never really changes. It's centuries and centuries old. And this current control group certainly has a grip on all of it. If you ever played Stratego when you were a kid, that's what they're doing, just real time. So anyway, I was up late last night, and how you doing, Mike?
I'm fine.
Okay, just want you to say something.
Just quiet. Just try to look something up here.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. I just wanted to greet you. Just get on here and start rambling. I was up late last night and thinking about, I've been doing radio shows and podcasts and video casts for years and years and years, hundreds and hundreds of shows. And this one is kind of the culmination of it all. IMHO, in my humble opinion, .love. Love is what it's all about. Love is the last thing. It's the last thing, period. If love ever expires, then the whole show's over. So, but love is the thing. And that's what we're hoping to perpetuate with the sharing that we do. The show is non-monetized. We're not sponsored by anybody. We don't hold our tongues with our opinions, and they are just opinions. I mean, there's always an amount of error in any opinion, and the total amalgamation of all these facts that come out into a sentence or a paragraph. They could be reliable, they could be on point, they could be way off. So, but just take it for what it is, and hopefully we can comfort you a little bit or make you feel a little better or a little more informed. Mike was awesome last week. He has actually spent a fair amount of time over in the Ukraine. He speaks Russian, and he's a graduated historian from Princeton, so he knows some stuff, and kind of the skeletal background of all these things that are going on, and what and neither one of us watch mainstream media, so we don't really even know. I mean, I catch it in glimpses if I stop and pick up Chinese food because the TV's always on when you pick up Chinese food. You ever notice that? They never don't have the TV on at the Chinese food restaurant. Never, no. It's Bay News 9 PowerPoint with with a side of hot mustard. But anyway, so what do you feel as though is the biggest level of deception that's being thrown at everybody right now? What do you feel as though?
Well, what I'm fearful of, to the extent that I can be afraid of anything, is I posted a piece on my Facebook page. Now I've been demoted 90 days 3 times in 30 days, which means I'm down 270 days in the substance feed. So I'm about as low as you can go.
Oh my gosh!
Kicked up. Yeah. But today I wrote what you read. My cousin had posted a piece basically saying, hey, Russia has bombed a maternity clinic. Now we know what we have to do. It was like, no, dude. So what I ended up doing was I ended up clicking comment, and I wrote that as a comment.
Uh-huh. And
Facebook wouldn't allow me to post it as a comment.
Oh wow!
And it read to the effect that this person will not allow you to post this on his page. It was like, dude, it's my cousin, number one, and number two, how does he know what I'm writing in the comment section
before you post it? Wow!
So. That's dangerous.
Under my thumb.
Well, that's the whole thing. Is the first thing that dies in a war is truth. So, I mean, the ministry of truth. We're all being so that part of the reply, which I didn't post in the post on my page, which nobody will read except for maybe you and somebody else.
I posted it on my page.
Oh, thank you. Is that
can anybody share that too?
I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead. Give it a whirl.
You're now a subversive, but the forget where I was going with that. So I posted that. Yeah, we all saw this in the lead up to the Iraq War, where they falsely alleged that Saddam Hussein's men had gone into a neonatal clinic and opened up the incubators and threw all the babies on the floor and killed them.
Oh,
it's like, and it was baldly false. Everybody ended up knowing it, and why? Excuse me. And the girl who gave it admitted it was false. After the CIA and her father, who was a Saudi minister to America at some upper level, lied.
Yeah.
So
she had that tearful, cracky voice thing, and then the soldiers, they took the babies and they threw them on the floor.
Exactly. Now, I'm not saying accidents don't happen in war. I mean, look what happened with Snowden and with Chelsea Manning, when that little snip of tape got out.
Abu Ghraib?
No, not Abu Ghraib. Where we came in with helicopters, and there was a photo team getting together to shoot some photography, and we wiped them all out. And then when an ambulance came, one of their ambulances, which means it was a Ford Aerostar, came to get them up. They shot them up too, and they killed kids as well. That's what got Chelsea Manning in trouble. That's the whole thing behind that. That was the tip of the iceberg with the Snowden affair. So,
wow,
shit happens in war, But unfortunately, we didn't have to be in this position. And I was listening to the president of Finland the other night. Now, Finland is another neutral country on the Russian border, and they've had a history. When the Soviets invaded Finland at the beginning of World War II, they went to Germany, asked the Germans for help, and the Nazis came along, and Finland was fine with accepting, Nazi Germany as helping them get rid of the Russians. and after the war, then Finland has always been a neutral nation, just like the Ukraine was. It was, no man's land, especially after Gorbachev. It was like that was the deal between Reagan, Russell Baker, and Mikhail Gorbachev, is that the Ukraine was going to be allowed to be a neutral state, and everybody keep their hands off of it. But we started, and we decided to have a regime change, and we literally, and this is not hyperbole. We allowed a neo-Nazi party, the Svoboda Party, and part of the Svoboda Party in the Maidan revolution that put Petro Poroshenko in office. One of those, one of the parts of that coalition was the Fatherland Party. This is like Wikipedia stuff. There was a neo-Nazi Svoboda Party. We helped put them in there. We helped put in the neo-Nazis in the Ukraine.
Okay.
Period.
Yeah.
All right. And then
they came with the package.
Right. And then just behind them, we decided to put medium-range nuclear missiles in Poland. And yesterday Poland was saying, hey, let us give the Ukraine aircraft so that they can fight the Russians, and then you can replace our aircraft with what we give the Ukrainians. And it's like, wisely, the United States said, no, that would be an act of war, and we're not going to go that far, but at least today. Right. And the whole thing is insanity. And what's going on now is, Sweden and Finland, are now, having to consider seriously whether or not they really want NATO,
right,
or not. I mean, if they elect NATO, or they decide to go that route, Russia may very well end up coming into there, because they have every right to protect their territory in their backyard. It's like the United States has every right to keep Russia out of Cuba. Right. I mean, the Monroe Doctrine. And why does that only apply to the United States? It shouldn't. It doesn't.
Right.
So that's the problem. So, and right now, I mean, this is I thought it was nuts that Trump got elected, and I thought it was nuts that he didn't get elected the second time. But the first, when Trump ran, it was like this guy had a reality TV show, okay,
right,
where he played Donald Trump.
Right.
Okay, he didn't play anything; he was just Donald Trump, and then he becomes president. Because why? Because it was on The Simpsons 12 years earlier.
Right.
But Vladimir Zelensky, now his name isn't Vladimir Zelensky. The Vladimir means he's Russian, but Volodymyr is Ukrainian. So he as a Ukrainian chooses to, and is part of the progeny of the neo-Nazis that were instituted by the United States. And then soon afterwards, all the kids, the Kerrys were there, the Pelosi's were there, the Bidens were there. Everybody's making money out of Ukrainian oil deals with the Russians.
Sure.
Go figure.
Right.
And then and Zelensky in 2015, the year after we overthrew the government, he's the lead character in a sitcom called The Servant of the People.
Right.
So he plays
the president.
Yeah, he plays the president. What a grooming job of this. This is how you need to look presidential, because you're going to be president a couple of years. So let's do a sitcom. This is like Hollywood.
Oh yeah. It's all Hollywood.
You couldn't script this better. And none of Americans know this. We don't know Americans. We are so stupid. We're so ignorant. We couldn't even point out Ukraine on a map if it wasn't labeled for us.
Right.
So same thing with Iraq and Iran, and Afghanistan, and every other country in the world. And I mean, they can't even find Nebraska on an American map. And all of a sudden, there's my cousin, college educated. Yeah, we need to go in we can bomb them back and send our Air Force in. So it's like, yeah, dude, you got 3 daughters. You haven't lost the son, and I'll be damned if I'm going to let my granddaughters, have to fight a war outside the shores of the United States. It's not going to happen. So take your crappy comments and stick them up your ass. You might be my cousin, but you're full of shit.
There you go.
Hey, so
in your humble opinion.
Yeah, right. So and it's not just the guests. Like I said, Stephen Cohen was my mentor. He was the head of the Russian Studies Department at NYU after he got finished with Princeton, and he was a good basketball player too. I used to play basketball with him. He was my mentor, and
that's great.
And he's dead now, but
he just died recently, didn't he?
Yeah, to 2020. But the thing was, he was one of the lone voices of reason in dealing with the Russians, and he basically was saying, like, you people absolutely do not understand the psyche of these people. They absolutely do not want. They want to be left alone. They want to be safe in their houses. They've been invaded too many times from every direction, over the course of 12 different time zones. And I've been with the Russians. I've been with the Ukrainians. They're very similar. But, I can say the Russians is, we just want to be left alone. Let us work. Let us drink. Let us hunt. Let us have our families, and leave us alone. Because we don't, they may have had different feelings or different political aspirations under communism, which wasn't, it wasn't Russian nationalism at all, and it wasn't under and it was under the czars. Everybody wanted to push the boundaries of every empire they had. Today, Russia is just a small piece of what it used to be, and it's a regional power with nuclear weapons. It just wants to be left alone. Mm-hmm. Don't threaten it. It's a bear. Leave it. Let it be in its cave, and don't mess with it.
Yeah.
And we're not doing that because the neocons believe that we can actually engage in a war. I've listened to them talk, and they said there might be 1 billion dead.
There might be 1 billion dead.
1 billion dead.
Well, that's kind of on their plate too.
From a nuclear war in the world, and that's acceptable
okay
because there's 7 billion people to so that's only 1 in 7. It's like kind of like the attrition rate we had in the Civil War. It wasn't 1 out of 3 that we had in Prince Philip's War in 1676, but to them it's acceptable. And you talk about the nuclear aftermath, it's it's just nuts. They think they can win a nuclear war. Nobody wins a nuclear war. Period. Ever. We all lose. The other thing what we're starting to see on the international stage is how intertwined everybody's economy is with everybody else's.
Yep.
Okay? There's no getting away from it. So the fact that, we're having a war in the Ukraine, the Ukraine is 50 million people. The Russians, 200 million. I mean, that's not a great chunk of the world's population, but look what's happened to the price of oil, the price of everything. And it's only going to go up and up and up, and it's as if somebody planned this. And then I saw Colbert the other night, and he's going, suck it up, America. $1 or $2 extra a gallon is the price you're going to have to pay for a good conscience. List from a guy who makes $15 million a year and drives a Tesla. Okay, if they were, they've decided to declare a war on the middle class of the United States, try and destroy it even further, as if they haven't destroyed enough. They can't do it. But the problem is that this country and its people are so resilient. Thank God for the Mexicans. That
we love them.
It's the whole work ethic. This is a great place where the economic backbone of each individual in this country that wants to make a living and wants to make the country a better place and make a good place for his family to live is incredible. It's what makes Americans tick. It's what keeps us. It gets us out of bed in the morning. It's what makes us, owners of small businesses that make payroll and then, make paychecks and then save whatever is left over for ourselves. That's the kind of capitalism that keeps America running. It's not the big, gigantic corporations that are worldwide that just, feed off of us and everybody else they come in contact with. So
yeah, true.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, it's a good story, and and the mist that weaves through all of that is all of these people Zelensky, Bill Gates, Zuckerberg, they're all part of the World Economic Forum.
Yeah.
Okay, and have been for a long time. Putin too. Putin's one of their guys too. So, having belonged to that team, and the prize is to have Russia join into the World Bank. That's the big lever that all these other sub stories kind of protect or whatever. I don't know, but that's the last push, because if they get Ukraine to join the EU and NATO and all that, and so that will relinquish all the monetary movement, and then if they can make Russia do it, then just turn the hourglass over, because it's only a matter of time at that point. They would have complete global control.
Well, it's what they do with every other country. They go in, they make loans to the countries that they can't pay. When the loans go into foreclosure, then all what used to be public infrastructure becomes privatized, and then the people get milked. It's horrible.
Yeah, well,
you know how this works.
It's the way of the world, man. Yeah.
Well, it's the way of the central banks of the world.
Yeah.
And that's how they get you hooked, and they never let you go. It's like it's like owing mafia money. Once you're hooked, they never let you go. It's just the world banking mafia.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. And I was watching that series, the Borgias.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. If you've never seen it, I think it was made on Showtime, and I know it's on Netflix right now because that's the format I watched it on. But this comes from the Catholic Church, the banking systems, the city-states, all that blending of power and families, all that has never gone away. All that is still rolling today. And
the nefarious cloak and dagger stuff. I mean,
yeah.
If you didn't go along with the program, who cares if you're a cardinal? You're dead. And you're
yeah, there's no clout.
Yeah.
There's no clout.
You're dead,
But. Yeah. But anyway, and thanks for the lead in there. I've been up late a few nights this week, a lot on my mind, just thinking about this stuff, and also being very thankful for the freedom that I currently have and the health that I'm currently enjoying, and the joy in my heart and the love that I have for my family and friends. And I know we're all, some of us stay into this all day long, like our friend Donnie Chamberlain. He must know more about this whole, page 6 operations than anybody. I mean, he posts me stuff all day long going, dude, do you work? Are you? He might be a spy. I'm not real sure. But anyway, I was up late, and I was thinking about all of you. I knew we had the show coming up, and just to hang in there, man. We're on a bigger stage than you know. The blurbs that are coming out of the light box are just that. And I also wanted you to know that I identify with your feelings and your emotions. And I wrote this last night. It's called People Like Us. Our work boot feet are tender and sore, and some of us can't take much more. We leave good tips and we cancel fun trips. We try to unwind, but our schedule's unkind. We seek to do good, but we don't always do as we should. We like most all who we meet, but not everyone's a treat. We give you room to rattle, avoiding most battles. We quietly watch your actions and listen to your money talk in fractions. You are okay with us if you give that old lady your seat on the bus. People like us. We keep a variety of friends, funny and smart, and a dozen other blends. You can call us when you need us, and when we're done, you can feed us. If we show up, it's out of respect. Don't lay down some bullshit we have to deflect. We dig the truth and straight talk. Keep playing the asshole and we'll get out and walk. People like us are tired. These news cycles have us wired. We don't believe the sparkle and the hype. The rotting fruit is way past ripe. We've been lied to before and surely again, and if you need examples, just say when. We feel the untrue and the slow side too of kind of blue. We are the beams of this old structure, and some weary pipes are going to rupture. We'll be here to make the repairs, last man standing, we are the ones who truly care. Wipe your tears on our sleeves, we seek not to deceive. People like us just want to be. It's all about us and not so much me. All the tropical spacemen in this stretch of life, we are digging everybody, even your cat-like ex-wife. Ego is nothing but a tormented wave, and we don't let anything make us a slave. When the chips are down, stand next to me. We won't charge you anything to help you stay free. We have struggles like any other, but out of respect, we won't curse near your mother. If you've read it this far, you're probably one of us, as that sweet old lady rides comfortably on the bus. Lost in the country, ran out of gas, it'll be one of us who helps out your ass. People like us, we have no club, freelance contentment at the office or the pub. Some are angels in place, looking out into space, with a quiet and subtle energy of grace. People like us, people like us, people like us. So that's on my Facebook page. If you like, feel free to share it, post it, whatever you like. And I trust you'll do the right thing. And that's, we're getting kind of tired, which is exactly what they hope we do and stop paying attention. But now is not the time to stop paying attention. None of this time is the time to stop paying attention. But all that out there, those are the low vibrations of the world. Those are the grit and the grind, the lowest part of the gearbox, where everything is just, from ground zero, inertia forward. It's ugly, it's gritty, it's uncouth, it's not smooth, it's egoistic, it's everything that can make it bad, sour, rugged, rocky, stiff, painful. And that's kind of the way the world has been for a long, long time. There's that crackling vibration that runs everything else. And then there's us. There's me, you, Mike, everybody, all of us. We're all here. And there's those of us that can only put up with that level of vibration and noise for so long. And then it's going to change. It has to change. And that's when you start going inside. If you don't have a meditation life, it's really easy. Get alone, get quiet, close your eyes, pay attention to your breathing, and before you know it, you're meditating. There's so many great meditation sessions available online. Eckhart Tolle is one of our favorites here. It does change your life. All your chakras start to align. Your blood pressure regulates. Your heartbeat hits the right pace. Your mind clears. And it's the simplest thing. It's the simplest thing. They never taught us to do it. They taught us variations of it, with prayer and singing and stuff like that. But the meditation, the individual time with yourself, uninterrupted. I know a lot of people have a hard time finding a nice quiet place to be by themselves. And I think of you sometimes. You got a house full of kids. You got people coming and going. You got doors slamming and cars starting and phones ringing and people yelling and the TV going. It's really, really hard for you to find that quiet time by yourself. But I ask you, try to find it. Try a little harder. Even if you got to sit in your car in the driveway, whatever it is, just get alone for a while and turn off all the noise, all the distraction, all the blinking lights, all the music, everything, and just sit there and be silent, because that's kind of how you got here. And spend more time with that, and that'll help you. It'll help you deal with everything. It'll show you another dimension of yourself if you're not in touch with it. And people run around, hairy and freaked out all the time because of something they watched on TV or YouTube, or they saw it on the internet or the dark web or something, and it's just got them all flipped out. Well, they exposed themselves to a dangerous and radical vibration, and without the offset of that, your meditation time brings you back to neutral. It brings you back to stillness. It brings you back to quiet. And that's one of the things that, it's helped me tremendously. Mike has been a incredible teacher for me. He's taught me so many of the ways of the Tao, and just accepting life as it is, because it really is all very perfect, whether we can see that or not. You have to kind of trust that it is. And in that vibration, when you realize, okay, this is the world that I'm in, and I'm a little part of it, but yet I'm also a huge part of it. You're an energy source. You're a moving frequency. You're a vibration. You're an incredible thing, this living thing, this wonderful animated bag of meat that we live in. It's truly, truly an incredible, just life itself. Now, okay, you say, okay, I accept the world as it is. Okay, what can I do about it? The thing you can do about it, and it's so simple but so hard. The thing you can do about it is to move out into that space, move out into that energy field, being the best person that you know how. Be gentle. The golden rule, man. Treat other people the way you want to be treated. You don't want to be stolen from? Don't steal. You don't want to be lied to? Don't lie. You don't want to be cheated on? Don't cheat. Tough lessons for a lot of people, including myself. But once you get there, everything does kind of start to change. And when you go into the world with a kinder and gentler tone upon arrival, I have to tell you, after years of doing this, I move through the day in a pretty gentle and mellow way with a wonderful little sense of purpose. I don't, there's days that get me down. I had a dear friend pass away yesterday. He died in his sleep, 30 years old. And everybody's just, question marks all over their head. They don't know what to think of this, So you get somebody ripped out of your soul circle, and now you're thinking about all the big stuff again, and the respect their privacy. And just, they are dear friends of mine, and if you want to throw some energy into my circle, I'll pass it on. But so this isn't it's not an easy thing we're doing down here, but you're supposed to be here. You signed up for it. And if you're trying to find your way, that's what Mike and I do this for, is to, help somebody out. Between the two of us, we might say something you might agree with or actually learn something from. So we're okay with that. We the thing that we're experiencing now here in the show comes to you from West Central Florida, and we're feeling the same pain the rest of the United States is. Our gas prices are up to $4.40 a gallon, and I know that other places are into the 5s and 6s now. I think I saw California $5.99.
Yeah, well, on the bright side, people aren't going to afford to be able to eat, so the obesity epidemic might be cured.
That's true. And speaking of that, Mike, I'm in my second week of eating a vegetarian diet. I got to tell you, I feel pretty good.
Well, it's not like vegetarianism is going to kill you.
No, it can't.
I mean,
it can't. Nobody ever died because they eat too many vegetables.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if that were the case, Hitler would have died in 1943.
Was he vegetarian?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they used to complain about
so much for the peaceful soul of the vegetarian.
Yeah, they used to complain about his flatulence. He'd be like, they're planning out a war, and it's like, well, we got to go to the Ukraine. It's true. It was like the Fuhrer. You think that's how he got his name? It's like you haven't heard one of his ripped ones.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
It's true.
Hitler farted a lot.
Oh, incredibly! It's like flatulence all over the place.
Der Fartmeister?
Yeah. It's like,
wow. And, and they say that, vegetarian, vegan lifestyles, they do, they calm you down. They're supposedly, mellow your soul.
Yeah, and the reptilians say they all taste alike. So.
Well, there's those Indian healers, if you go to India,
and you need a healer.
The Hindu guys, they can lay hands on you, and they do have tremendous healing power. But if you are a meat eater, they won't see you until you stop eating meat. That's kind of their little credo thing.
Slip them a couple extra bucks. I've been to India. It's like, It's
funny.
It's not all it's cracked up to be.
Hey, let's forget about that cheeseburger, Haji.
It's like, yeah.
Heal me up.
It's true. And the Muslim women, they're on their burqas on the back of motorcycles, and they get off, and then they go in a restaurant, and they take the burqas off, and they're beautifully dressed, beautiful women.
Really?
It's
they just wear that tarp when they're out in public.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So the world is not what you think it is.
And that's the thing. These are dizzying effects that we have to analyze.
It's like my in-laws, my old in-laws. They're conservative Jews.
Okay.
And it was like, of course, they're not going to eat pork or bacon or anything like that, right? They're not going to do that.
No Milchek or Fleck.
No, nothing like that.
Right.
Until you catch them doing it.
Ah!
It was like, yeah.
Really?
It was actually kind of funny. It's like one of them gets like, like in the back of the dinner table, it's like, hey, you ever have bacon? It's like, why? Have you? Yeah, I tried it the other day. It was good. He goes, yeah, me too. It's like, what the fuck?
That's humanity, isn't it?
It's horrible.
Well,
the movie I turned you on to, too, it's all illuminated. You need to watch that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a beautiful movie about the Ukraine, about Jews in the Ukraine.
What's it called?
All is Illuminated.
All is Illuminated.
Frodo, what's his name?
The kid from Elijah Wood.
Elijah Wood. He does a great job in the movie.
All is Illuminated.
Fact, it was written by a Princeton guy, graduated later than I did, but it was on the New York Times. The book was on the New York Times bestseller list. I didn't read the book, but I've seen the movie a couple of times. And screenwriting was great, but it's definitely worthy of a look. If you want to look inside the character of the Ukraine and East and West, it's all caught in there. And
wow.
the what happened during World War II in the West, and how they aligned with Hitler and blah blah blah.
All is illuminated.
All is illuminated. Yeah, it's like $3 on YouTube video. So
Wow.
it's a worthy movie. You learn a lot from it.
There you go.
And it was written by a Jewish guy, so it's recommended by Jews.
It's got the star of approval. The star of approval. The thing that I notice most is I come from, my parents always believed in God. We always had a picture of Jesus in our house, or the theoretical blonde hair, blue-eyed Jesus. And my dad believed, he was raised Catholic, and the day he didn't have to go to church, he didn't. It wasn't his cup of tea, so to speak. And he referred to the Creator as the old man upstairs. The old man upstairs knows what you're doing, And he loved inflicting guilt. But I loved him for that because he taught me some lessons from it.
By the way, I posted on my website the Generation X. There's something to do with that. There's this kid. He's Generation X, and he was trying to understand what Generation X is all about. So he talks to his father, who's a mechanic.
Right.
And the kid is brilliant, and the old man is the entire show. And it reminded me so much of the way you described your dad. You should catch it. I haven't stopped laughing. When I put it on, I can't stop watching it because it's the old man is just he's so eloquent. It's like, Dad, can you teach me? Can I curse? He goes, no, you don't curse. I said, why not? Because if you don't know how to curse, you sound like an idiot. So can I practice cursing? He goes, no, you're not supposed to curse. You need to watch it. I think I posted it. But
what's it called?
It's hilarious. I'll look it up here for you. But
and my special thanks to Kat Carroll, who's helping me format my books and my poetry and the articles and stuff that I've written. Thank you so much, Kat. And she's formatting it for me, and we're making the heap right now, and I appreciate your interest in my work, and it'll be worth it for everybody, I think, especially me. But
it's called Gen X Talks.
Gen X Talks.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, there's the dad with the beard and everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's hilarious. So.
Oh, okay. And Gen X. How old is a Gen Xer? Like 20 something?
That would require me to care. It's like just learning how to drive. So
okay. He's learning how to drive. So he's 15,
Gen
16.
Xer, yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Gen X Talks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll watch it.
Yeah, it's hilarious. He comes back with I went down to the park today for a town rally, and they gave me this, and he brings his dad a participation ribbon. And he goes, that is the problem. They probably paid somebody $1,000 for 1,000 ribbons. You can bring that back to me when you burn it, and it's a pile of goop in your hands. It's hilarious. It's the best. It's the best kept secret of the internet for this week.
Okay, Gen X Talks. I got to, and just off the record, I thought of this while you were talking earlier about the Ukraine.
Yeah.
And the Swoboda Party.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think the third baseman for the '69 Mets was
Ron,
linked to that?
Ron, only by name.
Ron Swoboda was a closet Nazi.
Yeah, well, he was definitely a Ukrainian.
Hey, all the '69 Mets fans out there, both of you.
Yeah, my father used to call him Stone Glove. He couldn't scoop up a ball at first base as his life depended.
Stone. He played first and third, didn't he?
Yeah. Swoboda was, I think, a first baseman, but yeah.
Eddie Cranepool was first baseman.
Oh, yeah, right. Then Cranepool was a Stone Glove.
Yes. Now that makes I've seen him.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
And that's one thing Mike and I have in common. He's a few years older than me, but we both lived in Jersey in 1969 when the Miracle Mets. That I got to tell you, Mike, that I look back on that time, and Jim Brewer also loves that piece of history as well. the '69 Mets just created such a fervor. Whether it was because I was in the tri-state area and I was so exposed to it, but man, people were out of their chairs with that stuff.
Oh yeah, well it was a great year. I mean, the Mets had Nolan Ryan as a 19, 20-year-old fastballer with a 109-mile-an-hour fastball, and Tom Seaver.
Seaver.
Yeah, and I actually watched a doubleheader one Sunday with my dad. Don Drysdale was up against Nolan Ryan.
Oh my God!
And Sandy Koufax pitched against Tom Seaver.
Oh my God!
That was one of the best. And and
what a day!
And who came in as a reliever? Warren Spahn.
Warren Spahn. Oh my God!
It's like at 53 years old, he could still pitch a slider in relief. So yeah, it was a great doubleheader.
Yeah, and I think that stuff like that, like thinking back on the '69 Mets and how exciting it all was, and every time every time they scored a run, every time they tagged somebody out, it was like yeah. And finally, when it happened, when they actually won, I the Schumann resonance, if they were tracking it on those days, I'm sure it was higher. Especially in the tri-state area.
Well, is that there was the ghost of success was hovering over New York. You also had the New York Jets that year, and the year before with Joe Namath. That was still kind of there was a happening time in New York, and before that, you had the New York Giants in their ascendancy, and in football, and you also had the New York Yankees were great. You had Mickey Mantle. You had Yogi Berra, you had Whitey Ford. You still had the greats that were still playing, and they were still winning World Series championships. So
it was an exciting time.
It's a great time to be in New York and be a baseball fan.
Oh yeah, but that thread of excitement was exclusive to Americans. I mean, but if you like the team, great. Then it was even better for you. But that level of excitement over something, something as innocuous as baseball. It's kind of what made being an American one of the great things. You could be so excited about your baseball team or your football team. And I do think the efforts were a little more puritanical back then, or whether the corporations were just making ungodly profits back then, or maybe it's all the same. I don't know. But that level of excitement, and the '69 Mets, that was a Cinderella story,
Yeah, but it was like that was the days before free agency, and I forget who the Saturday Night Live character was. The days before free agency, when we had slavery and we liked it. Well,
I was actually looking at some '69 Mets stats a few weeks ago, and the one thing I remember is Tom Seaver, who was the MVP of the World Series. He made $70,000 that year.
Yeah, which was like 6 or 7 times what the average teacher made.
Right.
Yeah. So
it was an uproar.
And now, football, I forget who's signing contract, 4-year contract for $50 million a year. It's like, wow.
$50 million a year.
$50 million a year.
He's his own franchise.
That's crazy.
That's a lot of money.
Well, oh well. Life goes on.
Well, bread used to be $1. Now it's $5.
Yeah, well, he's going to be able to afford gas.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But, the whole thing's gone nuts.
And the other thing, too, Don Chamberlain, thank you for posting this, was a link to an interview with one of the energy czar guys that talked about the absolutely nearly inexhaustible link or source of oil that the United States has under its ground. North Dakota, they say we have more oil under the ground in the United States than all of the Middle East.
Yeah, but we got to get past the reptilians to get it.
They manning the pumps up there?
I don't know. But hey, speaking of the CE5, Leslie and I did a CE5 up here last Saturday night just by ourselves.
Oh, nice.
We easily had 4 craft come in.
Wow.
Easily.
Beautiful.
And 2 of them signaled back, and then 2 of them, and one of them came back when we asked for it to come back. And did one of these, came back, and then gave us a flash, and then headed on out.
That's great.
Yeah,
man.
so just you don't need a lot of people to do it, and I'm hoping that more and more people in our group get the idea that they can do this on their own, and they can start their own groups and find other places to do it. And we had the four craft come in within an hour, and it was within an hour and a half of sunset. So it happened really, really early. So
yeah, it's and that's that's the third page here at imho.love. All this stuff. Yeah, you got to deal with the news. You have to deal with worldly events. It's the way it goes. Then you have to deal with your own life, and then you can put all that in a wet cardboard box and just let it flop around in there. But then when you start to improve, when it's time to go past that median line, you start with your meditations and you start with your understanding of your participation in the oneness of all things. And you start to be exceedingly thankful, and you start to grow in your humility. One of my favorite lines I do. Finding out your level of humility is a very, very hard thing to do. Like, you can go around, helping people and just quietly just doing good things and not, just moving through and just being as humble as you can be. But you really have no indicator of how well you're doing, because you can't say like, hey, man, have you noticed how humble I've been lately?
Well, the Tao speaks to true humility, and true humility has no ego.
Right.
And humility is not something you search for. It's something truly humble is just something you are and become.
You become it, yeah.
So, we are, that's one of the great secrets of the universe, is that you are and you become what you do. So, true humility acts truly humble. You don't look for it; it just happens. So,
yeah.
And the archetype for what is not true humility would be George W. Bush, who found Jesus. I mean, and the kind of Christian humility that he portrayed was as phony as he was.
Oh, yeah.
But not as real as his mother's fetus in the pickle jar.
Oh.
You don't know about that?
What's that? Yeah,
the first Bush child was born prematurely.
Okay.
And didn't survive birth.
Okay.
So Mama kept that fetus in a jar, and she introduced it to all the rest of her family.
Oh. When
they grow up, it was time to meet the fetus in the jar.
Oh, my.
And you tell me she's not Aleister Crowley's daughter.
Yeah. Well, the looks are incredible.
That's true. And I read an interview when they'd asked Jeb about it, and he just said, yeah, it was kind of strange, but that was just Mom.
Mr. Crowley.
She kept a fucking fetus so her kids could see it in a jar. In a jar. These are the people that are leading our country.
Yeah.
Hello.
For generations.
I know. And this is not bullshit. This is real.
Grandpa Prescott was.
Oh yeah.
My God.
Yeah, another criminal. Horrible criminal. Horrible man.
Yeah. That's true. They're out there.
Yeah. Look it up.
Yeah. It's not hard to find.
It's not hard to find.
But the other thing, you get your meditation down. You can joke about your humility, but your humility will show up eventually, and you won't even know it.
If you're not humble, God will humble you. And He'll find a way to humble you. He'll take away your vision, give you the pox, take away everything you have, and then you'll find humility, and then you'll find your loving Creator at the bottom of the barrel. once you realize that you're screwed.
Without it, without that source.
Yeah.
But that's where we take it to the next level. Our page 3 is where we believe our collective consciousness together in our human initiated contact experience groups. Out here we do these sky watches. We all join in a collective vision about communicating with extraterrestrial intelligences, and they, like Mike was just saying, he and Leslie were in the field, and it happened. It's the.
Well, it doesn't happen. Leslie led a CTS, she's a conscious thought sequencing.
Okay.
And it worked. That was she's done it before. I said, hey, let's give it a try. Let's see what you got. And she did it.
Fastball right down the middle.
Yeah, you know. So, and the other thing is I like to call it field work because that's what it is. Skywatch is too passive.
Yeah.
That's the problem. We had a group out here the last week, and they were doing everything, from Reiki to just not shutting up, and they weren't working on it. They weren't doing their field work. So I don't call it Skywatch anymore. It's field work.
Field work.
Because Skywatch is too passive. I want contact. I do contact. I make contact. It's the reason I'm out there. It's the reason I do this. It's the only saving, grace to my life as far as I see it, with the exception of friendship and family. But that being said, it's the bravest, the newest, and greatest frontier. And if you ready yourself for it, it's there for you. There's no better feeling than finding the highway, that band, that consciousness band that connects you to and puts you into the subtle realm, and you bring them all back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a miracle.
It is. It gives you that 69 Mets miracle feeling.
Yeah, even more. It's like it's like they all come back from the dead to play in your backyard.
Yeah, it's and if you're wondering from whence you came, that's from whence you came.
And that was the message, back in October 2015. The message is that you get through this lifetime, you come back as a universal being. You can become a universal being, an integral universal being as a human. But you get to come back your next lifetime as a higher entity, a higher order of being, whether it's energy or a higher entity or a higher non-human intelligence. You come back transformed. You don't have to come back as a human anymore. You get to come back as some other form of source, which it shouldn't be a goal, but it's part of the genesis of the soul, and coming in and out of a multi-dimensional, at least a three-dimensional world, in and out of that into something higher. So
yes,
that was the message. So keep on working at it.
Yeah, well, we're at the Earth School, and we're working. So I think, therefore I am.
Or I am, therefore I am. You don't have to think about it. All you got to do is be.
I'm getting so close on these quotes, Mike.
Right, you're getting close, but you don't need to know the quotes. You just have to just be yourself. That's all.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have spent another hour in Studio 52 here at the beautiful Darby Ranch. I'm Lou Angelwolf. That's Mike Murburg. We hope we helped you figure out a couple of things. Don't be alarmed of things you see on television. That's it's
don't be a don't be, do be. Doobie-doo.
And doobies help you understand a lot of things. So they do me anyway.
Doobie.
Doobie or not doobie?
Yeah, that's right. Well, that is the question.
Y'all have a great week. Like we say often here on the show, use your head, trust your gut, and your heart will take you home. Like, share, subscribe. Whatever you want to do with the show is fine with us. Share it with anybody. We don't have an agenda other than trying to share the truth that we trust with you. And if we're right, great. And if we're wrong, sorry. We tried.
And if being a vegetarian is good, then Hitler was not all bad.
That'll get us taken off the air.
I'm sorry. That's Hegelian logic, though.
Hegelian, it's true.
Yeah.
I am losing weight, though.
Well, of course.
I'm losing weight.
Yeah. And
I'm not. Look.
Yeah, just don't point the other end at me.
No, I won't Hitler gas you.
No, right. It's like Cyclone H.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Let's see.
Hey, well, when it comes to Hitler, hey, the Western Ukrainians didn't think he was so bad either.
Yeah, he was being helpful.
Yeah, I'm just making a historical statement.
There's Jerry. There's Jeff Barrett. All right. Hey, Nanette, how you doing, honey? You out of jail again? She's such a scalawag, and that word sounds worse than it is, I think. And Marla, thank you for tuning in. Love you a bunch. Like, share, subscribe. We love to help. It's like stovetop stuffing, and we hail.